Oh. Doing it live. Are we there?
Yes, I believe so.
All right.
We're live.
So, this is Painting Platinum number 36. Oh, hi, Spoons. I-Fi Paint, Scrying Eye, Trauma Hawk. We're here today, just kind of messing around. We really don't have, I was telling Justin, I really don't have a plan. He said, how's that different from any other show you do? I had to tell him, well, we pretend we have a plan on all the other shows, but this one we really don't have a plan. So, so I was walking around the internet and somebody asked me how I was doing, and I was like, oh, thanks for the sub, T McDuff. I was like, I should already be talking to Justin, getting ready for the stream. I just don't know what I'm gonna paint. I picked out one thing and then I couldn't remember what number it was to tell people what it was. But anyway, somebody was like, I know what you should paint, and grabbed it, which is like the best way to do it ever. However, I have not primed it yet. So I'm going to use the brush on primer. And hi, Francis. And we're going to prime it right here.
Well, that's a good idea. We can showcase the brush on primer for everybody.
I love the brush on primer. So, hi, Sharky in the tent. So I'm not, the most experienced in the world, but I really do love the brush on primer. And I know a lot of people like it for times that they can't go outside and use spray primer. So, and this will make you like super jealous, but I made a paint department jar O primer. So like I have the big primer that everybody wants. The ever so sought after jar O primer. So today, hi Cross Yeti, Valander, Rings Raccoon. Ooh, I-Fi Paints uses brown liner in place of primer. So,
I really don't know why we don't sell a larger thing of. I know we don't really have
I
the
do.
receptacle to put it in. You know why we don't?
Well, I know a few reasons why. One reason is right now all of our machines are set up for the bottles. Um, we've talked about it. The only time I ever knew of us doing it was, um, never mind. So, tankard O primer, that's right. Flask O primer, bucket O primer. So, what we're going to do is number 3001, the Phoenix. Phoenix.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah. So, we have a Phoenix red, and I was going to. Okay, so I'll show you what I was going to do. This is chum
You know
red.
what?
What?
Let's parallel this with a deep conversation about times in your life when you feel like you've had to completely remake yourself. You know, be reborn, as it were.
Okay. Yeah. Oh, Spoons, I asked to do the ReaperCon Sophie, and I'm being held back by our producer. He's holding me back. He's stifling me, guys. Just kidding. Hi, the Menath.
Yeah.
Stifling. The only time I ever felt like that, let's see. Um, oh, I know. Before I went to cosmetology school, I was like 20. I think I just turned 23. And everything was just like, I don't know. I'm sure everybody's been through this. Everything was just like going to shit. It was just awful. Everything was awful my whole life. So I was going to school to be at the time I thought I was going to be an art teacher. And I was in theater and art and oh, hold on. There we go. And had a awful breakup and my stepdad died and I got fired from a job like kind of unfairly. So everything was shitty. Um, and it kind of turned around when I went to cosmetology school for whatever reason, and it gave me this like feeling, and this is something that I'm going to paraphrase really badly that's in psychology, which is it's the triangle of behavior, thought, shit, what is it? Anyway, if you change your behavior, it'll change your thoughts. If you change your thoughts, it'll change your behavior. And there's one more. Oh, shit. I can't remember it. I'll think of it. Um, but anyway, I changed something and things changed for me. So after that, anytime anybody was like, did the Facebook everything's going awful thing, I was like, you just need to make a big change. Do something for yourself. That was the first thing, because people in your life will tell you what to do. My grandmother was a cosmetologist, my dad's mom, and I told my great grandmother, who is also an artist, I was like, I want to go to hair school. And she looked at me and she was like, Sadie, honey, you're too smart to do hair. And it hurt my feelings really bad, and I didn't do it. And anyway, so I didn't do it for a long time, and then I went and did it, and I felt a lot better. I learned, I don't know, I changed my look. I think I was redheaded before that, and then I went platinum. Not that that matters, but a lot of people will change their hair in times of big change. Like, oh, I'm trying to remember. I think it was in White Oleander. Um, the I don't know if you've ever read or seen White Oleander, but there's a part where she's crying and she said she wanted to shave her head and paint her face with ashes. And I was like, man, what is that? People wanting to shave their heads when they get really sad. And I think it's a couple things. I think it's like changing your look, and it's also, I mean, if you want to take it even kind of creepier and deeper, like your hair is made of your skin cells, I think. So it's a part of you that has been there through all that weird negative stuff, and probably a removal of negative energy type thing. So anyway, that's that. And then the second time, it wasn't like a positive thing, but I think I had like I was never able to figure out quite what it was. At the time, I thought it was like a manic episode, but couldn't convince anybody of that. So whatever. It was just a time I got kind of unwell, and I decided I needed a Lexus. You remember this? This was like a big like I don't.
Oh, yes, do I remember this?
I was hurting so bad. I was like, what would fix this is a Lexus. I got so obsessed with it. And I'm not really a materialistic person. I just decided, I don't know, I wanted a Lexus. So I don't think that would definitely count. But it was something, and I changed a lot then. Um, and then the third thing I will say is in the past few years, I'd been a caretaker of somebody with dementia. And I've grown up a lot. Like I used to be, like I can still be a pretty big baby. I can be kind of a brat. Like not in a mean way, but I don't like not winning, and I don't like not getting my way, and I'll get frustrated really easy. But I've grown up a lot dealing with that. So after my grandma died, Dave Dwyer, or yeah, Dave Dwyer. This is 3001, The Phoenix. After it was over, I was like, man, I was kind of like feeling sorry for myself. I'm like, man, I wish this wouldn't have happened. Like, I wish we would just had regular times until she died or whatever. But I got to thinking, I would still be kind of a brat. Like, there would be a lot of things that I couldn't handle. Like, I was able to handle Like I used to not really be able to work a whole lot. I just didn't have I don't know, just didn't have the drive. But anyway, I changed a lot in that time and didn't really notice it until at the very end. It's almost like juggling. Like with every little bit that she would have a new problem, I would be able to juggle more and more and more. Um, so yeah, it was like bad times, and I would imagine will help me be a good parent or probably partner in some ways. But anyway, those are my big my times of great change. Um, some of them better than others. And yeah, I've always loved the idea of the phoenix. The person that recommended it is I think he identifies as a witch. I'm not sure. He's very spiritual, and he's an internet. And he was like, "Ooh, it's summer. You need to do this." And he's always good for like some symbolism. And he's into the. I'm trying to think. Probably European sector of spirituality. I'm not sure, but but anyway, I think that's kind of cool. Makes me think of Harry Potter, Fox the Phoenix. If anybody's read or seen Harry Potter, Dumbledore's Phoenix, his name is Fox. And spoiler alert, Fox's phoenix feathers are the feathers that are in Harry Potter's and Voldemort's wand. And Fox saves Harry Potter's life. I don't think he's ever seen again after that. Oh no, after Dumbledore died. Anyway, anyway. That's what we're doing. So what about you, Justin? Uh, when have you felt like you needed to reinvent yourself?
Um, Probably when you think.
Oh, when I had the episode and needed the Lexus.
Yeah,
Yeah.
similar. Yeah,
How old were you?
I allowed for that to happen twice, unfortunately. I was. How old was I actually?
Probably 24.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
I think I was 25. So you would have been about 24. I might have been 24. So you might have been 23. You were 23, 24. I was 24, 25. Sucked. There was a whole lot of sad going on. You could have
Yeah, it was.
cut the sad with a knife. Tell you what. So what do you think you did? Oh, you worked out a whole lot, didn't you?
I did. That's when I got into the best shape of my life, basically.
Um,
Yeah, that's when I went from 260 pounds to 200 pounds
were you
in
part of
about
that?
3 months, actually, which is really not that healthy. But
Yeah, I was wondering. I was like thinking, did you get in on that group? I don't even know what it was. I think we all had eating disorders. Like no shit.
oh no, that not that go around. That was when we
That
were
was
just
just
losing
me and Gus
weight.
and Scotty and
Yeah,
Gus.
no, the when I lost the weight for real, it was just through serious diet changes and a whole lot of exercise.
And depression.
And yes, depression definitely fueled. Misery loves company, right?
Can't hurt.
And actually, I went back to school too to kind of parallel what Graz did. Which, by the way, Graz, I don't think I could have done that, to be honest. I've done a lot of changes like that. Usually, they're tied to girls, unfortunately, and like breakups, things like that. I don't think I've had anything too turbulent beyond that that's made me change. But and so that's I massive kudos to Graz. Did you see what he typed, by the way? He said that at
Because I've been
30,
priming.
he said that at 30, he walked away from everything in his life, moved into a gross, infested, ratty apartment in Louisville, and went back to college. 100% dedication, no games, movies, nothing until he finished.
Wow.
That takes I don't. How close were you when you did that, Gross? Like, how much more did you need? Was this like, do you have 2 years of basically no entertainment, nothing but school, or?
And Francis, no, we met at Reaper.
Yeah, we
Um,
did.
we were just a part of a group of maybe like 4 or 5 people that would go to lunch every day, and we all got really close. Pretty much just giving each other shit every day, all the time, and bonded over a. Let me see. We had lunch at, was it La Milpa? And we had a.
No, it was the one just down the road.
Mm-mm, no, the mimosa lunch.
Oh, mimosa lunch. Yes,
I was at La Milpa, I think,
that was Lenovo.
and we
Yes.
became the Brotherhood of the Mimosa. I think I cried. We did a lot of sharing over a pitcher of mimosa with Gus and Aaron. It's a lot of fun.
Those were really good mimosas, if I remember correctly.
They were, and I saw it on the menu. And I was like, brunch mimosas. And I asked the guy, and he was like, "Well, we normally don't do that during the week, but let's see what we've got." They made us mimosas. We had Sunday on like a Wednesday. It was great.
Yeah, it was. It was like the middle of the week. I remember that.
Um, Hi, Calasandra. I saw Plainer Spoons came in. Peter Rooster. Yeah, yeah, yeah. So, um, trying to think what else was kind of going on. I mean, without getting into other people's stuff, because other people in our little group were going through stuff. Um,
Right. Yeah.
and then Aaron moved away, and then I got a job doing hair, and really tried to make it doing hair. Like, really tried to buckle down and make it.
Yeah. Also, by the way, you're behind your camera, your palette cam.
Um, oh, excuse me, yeah. Um, if anybody has any tips on this priming, I'm trying to get into like every little nook and cranny, but not um, pool and take away any detail. I don't think I've ever seen a demo on priming. It just seems kind of self-explanatory that you would want to have coverage without overdoing it. Dab a lot, don't water it down too much. Good news. I'm still not used to thinning my paint, so. Ooh, so how do you say your name? Deely? Um, Priming, layer in thin layers. Whoopsies, and try and get 95% coverage. So Ed and I talked about the airbrush, but I think he was kidding because I had told him, I was like, well, I've taken a class on makeup with the airbrush. And he was like, no, I was kidding. You would really like prime and base coat with it. But maybe one day. Oops. I wonder if. Yeah, daily. Okay. Anne says Tamaya spray primer. She does like that Tamaya spray primer, and I think other artists do too, because I feel like they were always popping into our office and borrowing the Tamaya. But how's my mic now, guys? Is it better? Um, okay, good. Got a little heart there, so I think that means we're better. I think my hair and my headphone were rubbing against it, but I don't know. I like the brush on primer. For a while, I was doing those Barbie repaints. I never really got good at it, but what is it? If it's too cold, it'll never dry, or if it's too humid, it'll never dry. I don't remember what it was, but I remember at the time I was doing it, it wasn't a good time for the spray primer. I think it was a different spray primer, though. I think it was like Tester's Dull Coat, because it was plastic, and yeah. So I would would say that's about 95%, but we're just going to keep doing it. I wonder if this is the first metal miniature I'm doing on stream. I think it is. Give this little face in there. So, I got our Phoenix Red, but what I was really wanting to do, I was really wanting to do something with a lot of iridescence in it. Like maybe have a highlight, and this might be like a little above my pay grade, it probably is, but have a highlight with like a rainbow of colors. Oh, good, I may be one. I'm glad you like them. I'm pretty proud of the Brine Wind colors. I hope they are a permanent part of Bones. I haven't heard yet if they will be, or if they will ever be sold separately, or if they're just for funsies. Because they, I don't think they ever meant to take Bones into 9500, and there's a lot to think about when you do something like that. So when I asked, I think it was Ed. When I asked Ed, I think he gave me the best answer he knew how without just sitting down and thinking of everything it meant. So anyway. Oh, I wanted to show you guys what I'm working on my own time too. While we'll say this is drying. But so I'm working on this bust, and like be gentle because I've never done a whole lot of this before, but what I was focusing on was a deep skin tone, but I'm still trying to get contrast in it and do it in a way that's like really kind of lifelike. I would really like to be able to do skin that looks like skin. So anyway, this is my bust I'm doing. No, I was just talking. So it's really blocky right now, but I'm using ebony flesh, walnut brown. So the hair is not going to be this warm, but I'm doing it the way that I feel like Rhonda was talking about. I think I saw Rhonda talking about this, in that when you have highlights and lowlights in hair, it'll actually go in bands rather than streaks. Like it'll go in streaks, but it'll also go in bands. So, yeah, so I'd like to go brighter. I actually made her cheeks are kind of wild right now. I made a yellow to mix in, and I didn't like it. It went too ashy. So I have so yeah, I'll talk about my giveaway too. So this is a super mega limited run of this yellow. Let's see. I'm glad Coffee Nerdery Beer. I love new paints. I really do. And I'm learning a lot about formulating, I think, and I'm trying to look at things around me and incorporate them into like paint colors. So that's what we gave away last time, was the wall pink. I know it, but so I think I was talking about this last time. I have this like formula so that if I want to, I can formulate in 4 or 8 ounces. Like I can formulate real small, whereas used to, like I was taught to do a gallon. I can formulate real small in cc's. So anyway, made this yellow. It was meant to be like a really bright, but it's not as bright as I would want actually, but it's kind of like, it's orangey, might even be an orange. I would still call it a yellow. But that is what I'll give away today for every actually, Chef of Love, you don't have to get a Brinewind box. The Brinewind sets are going to be available without buying the box. It's just you can't buy them like in singles yet. Yeah, it's It's actually, and our colors are a little weird. I wonder if I turn this off, if it'll give me like a better representation of that. I'm trying to remember. I think it's softer than lantern yellow, and it's not quite. I think it's more on the orangey side than any of the early yellows. But yeah, it's a happy little yellow. Yes, Trashorama, really great coverage. So yeah, almost like pale saffron too. But yeah, this is a really good high coverage yellow. It just didn't exactly work for what I wanted, and it didn't come out like it did in my head. But that's okay. I mean, when you work that small, you either have to have batches get bigger and bigger and bigger, or you have to just like be like, okay, that's enough. It's because if what you're mixing is small, so is the maximum amount of pigment. But that, I think I maxed that out on pigment. So yeah, it's a nice yellow. I'm still thinking of ways. So Ed is less into the idea of doing swatches. Oh, I wish I could remember. I'm obviously not a details person, but somebody posted their swatch books and how they had like not a grid, but they had like dark lines. So when they swatched the paint, when they did a stroke, you could see what is like how transparent it is. Oh, hi, Margaret. No, we haven't really done anything. We've just used the brush on primer. I really like the brush on primer. I really like it. I've taken to doing my swatches over brush on primer over watercolor paper. So that's what somebody asked when I swatched all the Brian Wynn colors, what I was using. I've been using primer over watercolor paper. Yeah, this is 3001 Phoenix. So I'm actually thinking I kind of like this fire to be like a magical fire and have some like iridescent rainbow sort of features, which I'm sure there is. I know there's fire that burns different colors. I don't know if there's any rainbow fire. I know oil makes rainbow water. Not sciencey enough for that. Trashorama, did you have to go cut your own swatch? Actually, ooh, purple and yellow is my magic fire look. I thought about doing pink fire because I have the wall quartet, which we gave away last time. Now I can't find, okay, you guys, this is so dumb, but I didn't know what paint I was going to use. This is awful. This is not good stream, but I just made like a big old pile of paint. Because I was going to do, I'll show you what I was going to do. Sorry, I messed up. So, I was going to do this horsey lady. It's like 1422 something, I think. But she's got big wavy hair and she's got one of these like jewel tiaras, I think. And little pot here. It looks like she's prepared to go, like eat in the woods like a cowboy. And I just forgot her arm and I didn't know what number she was. But yeah, it's a nice little horsey. I was gonna make him like a what's it called? Yeah, horsey lady. Oh yeah, she's not a centaur. She's just a lady on a horse. Horsey ladies might as well be centaurs though. Horsey ladies are roll into the horsies. It was actually really funny. I think Ed was married to a lady that really liked horses. So one time I had to use his credit card to order paint stuff. And he was like, "What'd you get?" And I was like, "A pony." And he's like, "Wouldn't be the first time." And I remembered. I was like, "Oh yeah, Ed's ex-wife was a horsey lady." Anywho, I'm actually. Oh, you know what,
Just
guys?
charge the pony to his credit card?
No, it was metallic flake, but I told him it was a pony.
No, I was just curious if she ever did.
Oh, I don't know. I have no idea. Um, I need a pokey tool, and I don't have one. And I don't even think I have a paper clip. Oh yeah, it looks so different. Oh, thanks, Otter Mama. It's 14228. Oh, Brings Raccoon has a pony and works on a pony farm. Oh man. I used to want a pony, but I've heard you have to do like really gross maintenance on horses. Like horses get really gross problems. And I mean every animal gets really gross problems, but I've heard that horses get like problems. Anyway, let's see if I've got something sharp. Doesn't look like it. Scoop poop, yeah. And yeah. But I've been told we can't have livestock here because I really wanted a little cow. But he's like, no way, we don't have enough land. We're not zoned for that. Or whatever. Whatever negativity he was spouting. Yeah, hoofs. Rings Raccoon, my grandpa grew up on a farm, and any time when I was a teenager I wanted farm animals, he was like, that's disgusting. They're disgust like chickens. He was like, chickens are nasty. And I wanted a pig, and he was like, pigs are disgusting and they can be mean. Like I've heard both. Maybe it's like the people that like people that are like, pit bulls aren't really dangerous, and then people are like, pit bulls are always dangerous. Maybe pigs are that way, because pig people, they act like pigs are the most docile, gentle creatures ever, but I've also heard that pigs will like eat you. Ooh, Cross had chickens, cows, pigs. Never horses, but neighbors that had them. Yeah. I feel like you can look at somebody, maybe not men, but with ladies. Like when I went to the feed store, there was this lady with this like high ponytail, and I think she was wearing a hat, like the ponytail hats. I was like, that lady loves horses. And I know that's kind of cheap, uh, what's it called? Cheap guess because she's in the feed store, but I could tell that was a horse lady. And in Argyle. Argyle is a horse type of place.
My my family, I guess my immediate family, like my mom and dad, when we lived out in the country when I was about, I think I was about 10, 9, 10, 11, somewhere in that range. My dad got a cow, and it was a calf, I should say. We raised it for a year, with the intention to, process it.
Mm.
And that is
By that
indeed,
I hope you mean hug it real hard in a line. Everybody hugs it as
yeah,
it walks through.
right.
Anyway,
We hugged it so hard that it ended up in our freezer. Um, but no, the point is that that's pretty much the only experience of livestock I ever had with my immediate family. Um, but I'm gonna be honest, that cow was really mean.
really?
No joke. That cow was like, it was also incredibly unaware of its size. Like, you know how you have like little dogs who think that they're like giant dogs and they get an attitude?
I literally
Well,
have that
thi-
dog.
this this cow was like, it thought it was a lap dog. It would just run you over because it thought it was smaller than it was. And but he would bite at any given moment. You had to watch yourself. He would just bite constantly. Um, he'd smack you with his tail on purpose. It seemed he would turn almost like a donkey. They would he'd try to kick us. He was mean. He really was. That was the meanest farm animal I've ever actually been in contact with.
I'm gonna have to adjust this color because this is a really pretty color and I feel like we're not seeing it.
T. McDuff. He knew the hug was coming. All right, let's call it the hug from now on. The
Uh,
big hug.
yeah, the big hug, the embrace of the Reaper. Oh, let's see.
Now, I will say that sort of behavior may have been at my brother and I's fault because when it was a calf, we did often go out there like to feed it, and we would hug the cow regularly. Like, and by hug I mean actually hug. Like we
Oh.
acted like it was our pet because at that moment we didn't quite. Cause my brother would have been about 5 or 6, and I was about 9 or 10. We hadn't quite processed what the purpose of the cow was.
Cows are
We
for
even
loving.
we even named it, and my dad was like, "Don't do that." But kids will be kids.
You should never hug a male cow, apparently.
Oh no, saying plainer, I'm saying we had a cow that was turned into jerky.
Um, let's see. The embrace of the Reaper with Reapercon being virtual. Yeah. Hope we all avoid the embrace of the Reaper uh, during this plague.
Yeah, no, I agree, plainer. It was as kids I mean, when it was a really small calf, enough that we could. It wasn't he wasn't aggressive then. He just kind of became aggressive later. Really, I mean, we got to the point where we couldn't go into his pen to feed him because he would just. Ooh.
My great grandpa had a bull, and we were always scared of him because you see bulls on TV. Have talked about him, Henry. Big Henry was a longhorn. But he was chill. He didn't seem like he cared. At the time, we are like, you know, let's see. I know of somebody who was killed on a farm because the owner insisted the bull was a sweetheart. The bull killed them after 8 years. Um, yeah, like we were never allowed in there. Like they were like, don't go in there with old Henry. I always thought, because bullfighting, I never realized bullfighting, they kind of inflame the bull. Well, not kind of, like they'll attack the bull and make them fight. And anyway, when I went to Australia and did a homestay, the family I stayed with had a cow that lived in their backyard and was named Chuck. They got him with the idea of hugging him eventually and fell in love with him, so he became the family pet.
That's actually what my dad named that cow, but he named it
I
Chuck for
know.
obvious reasons. Yeah,
I don't like that.
yeah. But it would also his name would change occasionally, and it would always be various forms of
Burger.
that's burger, or that's T-bone, or that's stuff like that. And like I said, as a 10-year-old, I think we knew, but it wasn't conceptually we didn't realize. I think that all of this meant that would be the absence of the cow at one day. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's
It's
I
hard
don't know.
it's hard to think back and remember the way you think about
Oh,
things.
I actually forgot we had geese and chickens too. By the way,
Geese are
no,
mean.
no, you know what? We had a goose. That we had three of them, and he was the last one left. But we swore up and down he lived. He was a free range goose too. We fed him, but we swore up and down that he could not be messed with. He was the meanest animal. He was far meaner than that cow. Enough that I don't even think coyotes messed with him. Like
Yeah.
he would hurt you with his wings. He was big too, and he would honk at you. We like got to the
Mm.
point where we went into certain areas of the yard to do certain chores. We had to take a broom with us to keep him off of us. And he was so mean.
That's how my mean feral is. I've got a mean feral, and uh, I have to kind of keep something in between us. She acts like,
Really?
yeah, she acts like she wants to be friends. Like, it's actually kind of embarrassing because I still try and maintain this facade that I don't feed the ferals, and my family knows that I do, but they've never seen me do it, so they can't prove it. But she goes to the back window, and I was house sitting for my mom, so she was like at the back window, like, and she like rubs her little paws on the window, like scratches, and she acts like she wants to be friends, and then when I get over to her, she starts hissing, and she's gotten to the point where she'll like rub up against other stuff when I'm near her, which signals to me like she wants to be loved, but she can't take it. Not into it. So like I'll touch the window when she's doing her little business, and she'll like cat slap it hard and hiss at me. And she's gotten me a few times. She got my little pinky. It's healing now, but I had to do a lot of Googling about rabies. It made me realize I need one of those preemptive rabies shots because I'm going to be handling wild animals. And I know you still have to get, like, if you get bit or whatever, I think you still have to get another rabies shot, but I don't remember what the point of it is. Well, I mean, I know it's for if you handle animals in case you get rabies, but you still have to go, and maybe you don't have to get as many shots. Yeah, I'd like to be able to comfortably, like, we had baby raccoons for a while and we fed them, and like I wouldn't do that today, but they were cute. Take stuff from you with their little handsies. Oh, 3 subs. I think we're 3 subs away from the giveaway.
Yes, correct.
The high coverage. Hopefully this yellow shows a little better now. It's like a soft. It's really not as bright as it looks.
I agree,
mean,
Twisted. That's actually
weird.
we definitely had considered that our chickens were as safe as they were, from coyotes and stuff. We had a big problem with coyotes out there, and we assumed they were safer because when we had the goose, it did patrol the grounds pretty well. It just had a tendency of hating everything around it. It didn't even like the chickens. It just didn't like anything in its area, including the people that lived there.
Love animals.
It terrified my brother. My brother, if you ask him today, he was terrified of that goose.
Well, I mean,
It
you
scared him.
would be. Did you ever see that movie, The Fourth Kind? Was it The Fourth Kind? It was an alien movie, and they tried to do a Blair Witch type thing with it, where I'm trying to think how they did it. I think they tried to do newspaper articles and make it seem like it was real. But anyway, in this movie, there's a lot of, um, oh, thanks, Sarducci, and XiwoXerase. I think that means we're open. Are we open?
Let's see. Yes, I believe that is. Hold on.
Um, but anyway, there's this part in this movie where, so what it's based
Oh,
on. Go ahead.
we're one. Sorry.
One away. What it's based on is alien abduction, but it also blends with the fact that in Alaska, a lot of people have gone missing. And I think the deal with that is they feel like it's something to do with people wandering off, like drinking and wandering off. I could be wrong. I know that sounds terrible, but I mean, it's pretty remote, and I think they have problems with alcohol. I mean, every area has problems with alcohol, but I think they have problems with alcohol there. And anyway, oh, thanks, XiwoXerase, planer spoons. So hashtag freeze open. You can get this hyper limited, will probably never make it again, yellow. I call it kitchen yellow, but it's a little brighter. Yeah, Sharky says Alaska has the mental health crisis too. But anyway, so they took that and kind of made it into based on a true story of missing people in Alaska and aliens and whatever. So anyway,
Wait, there's a mental health crisis in Alaska?
yeah. I
I
mean
didn't know that.
well, it's cold, and it's some parts are dark for long periods of time. And I know that there are areas, I mean, people get the seasonal depression anyway, but can you imagine the seasonal depression?
For me, it's usually right after Christmas for some reason. It hits me pretty hard. Makes it rough to do anything for about a month there. pretty consistently, actually.
The only depression I get is like what I think is the ADHD depression, which is like I'm really motivated, I'm going along, and I'm doing it. And then like I get overwhelmed and then I get this like paralysis almost where I'm like I cannot move. Like I cannot do anything. I'm so burnt out. I haven't had it in a really long time, but that's what I get. Um, Ooh, on the road of tears, they believe there may have been a number of serial killers active. So, anyway, there's owls. There's like people being interviewed, talking about owls, seeing owls when they get abducted by aliens. And I've always heard a connection with owls and aliens, but I think it's just because they're creepy. But anyway, that was the fourth kind. And I don't remember where I was going with that. It's a creepy movie. I heard the Bigfoots had to migrate north due to global warming. Now there's a Yeti Bigfoot turf war in Alaska and people go missing. Um,
I can kind of add to this. I'll go ahead and tell our chat this since I trust our chat. I don't know why, but I do. I have a phobia of Bigfoot, like a serious phobia. Um, and I know it sounds wacky. That doesn't necessarily mean that I believe that Bigfoot exists, but the concept of a tall ape-like, towering creature is pretty much paralytic to me at this point.
no
By the way,
judgment here. I've got some stupid phobias myself. Not that
but
that's
I will.
stupid. That actually kind of makes sense. That's like a normal human one. Dr. Bob, 3001, The Phoenix. Uh, Mega bundle just arrived. Striding Aragorn says. Um, oh yeah, and we're giving away this yellow I made. I made it for a reason. It didn't work for it. So high coverage. Oh
Oh,
yeah.
Bob looks like I think he's afraid of Bigfoot too. It's one of those things where it's like likely it'll never be relevant, but I'll be honest. If I ever go camping and I can even remotely suspect that my mind is playing tricks on me, and it has convinced me that Bigfoot is somewhere nearby, it'll just be it's awful. That's
I
all.
have megalophobia. So like there's a subreddit for it and y'all might look at it and realize you have it too, but if things are too big, I get really scared. It's inexplicable. But we went to like Spa Castle or something and they had these big pharaoh type figures and I don't think James and I had been together that long. We'd been together like a pretty long time. He was like, "That's really bizarre," and I was like, "Right, but it's real. Like I feel it rising up in me. Like I'm gonna panic." So I just have to not look at them. But I saw this thing on the subreddit, um, and it was in Scotland. Gosh, Justin, can you look this up? Can you get on the megalophobia subreddit and see if you can find a picture of this and send it to me?
It's a
Um,
picture. Exactly.
it's like a lake, and it's making me scared just talking about it. It's like a body of water, and there's these two giant horse statues, and they are so scary. I'm gonna find it. Actually, I'm gonna find it because I can do it much faster, but it'll just be more boring.
What I feel like I could. I've never heard of this, but this makes a lot of sense. I feel like maybe this is something that I've had issues with in the past. Not with buildings, but like cruise ships, for instance. Being
Oh,
a cruise ship messes with me because of how large it is.
Um, yeah, they're horse statues. They're fucking giant. Okay, I found the megalophobia subreddit. Um, so scary. But there's also, ooh, that's scary too. I hate all of that. I hate every bit of it. I'm just looking for one thing. Um, oh, there it is. God, it's so scary. It's the kelpies. It's the kelpies. I don't like them, but I gotta show you guys. Whew, that's bad. That's bad news. But yeah, you gotta look at it because you might have it too. It's kind of like I don't think everybody knew the. What is that phobia that's like porous things? And then
Uh,
there's
tryptophobia,
yes, a lot of people have that. Um,
that one can really mess with you. Did you
mm,
you said you found the picture?
mm-hmm.
Are you gonna put it on the screen
Yep.
or no?
I'm working on it. I'm not as good at it as you. I'll tell you what, but I think I can do it.
Really understand though.
These MFers. I mean, look at that. Sinister.
Ooh.
Don't like it. Like I'd throw up for sure. Anyway, somebody asked what red this is. It's Phoenix red. Oh, that just changed. I'm really gonna have to. I hate that. I'm really gonna have to do something with the white balance. Maybe when I get this all base coated, it won't do it. Look at that, Justin. It's gonna make you sick.
Which what?
Okay, watch. When I take this bottle away.
Oh, oh.
I hate it. I hate it. I hate it.
Yeah, we gotta turn your auto white balance off.
We're gonna do it.
It has no idea what color is.
No. No, it was terrible. It's somewhere in between, but I made that filter, like, I tried to color correct it, and as soon as I put that bottle up to it, didn't know what to do. And apparently it's not just that, because it's doing it now, too. Jeez, sorry. Hashtag not professional right here. Justin wouldn't have this happening. This is all me. I did ruin this brush. I was doing some like dabbing, and maybe my white nails are throwing it off too. Didn't even think about that when I did the white nails. I was gonna do a big splatter of chum red on one of my nails, but I didn't like how it looked, so I took it off. Yeah, this is why I read somewhere that you'll have a really nice brush, and as it gets worse, you move it down to base coating and dry brushing and weird little effects, maybe metallics. I know some people don't like to use the brushes for metallic paint on anything else. Spoons, they don't survive. In fact, I have a big to-do list tonight, and I'll probably cut these a little shorter, and they'll just get nasty. They get like mechanic nails, which I know because the men in my family are mechanics, but they look just gross. I had to take my grandpa to the doctor this week, and I was pushing him in a wheelchair, and I could tell, like, I was pretty visible, and I thought, man, they must think I'm so dirty, but it's pigment. Maybe if you put a paler color paper behind the mini for different contrast on the camera. Hi, Nomad Think. That might work. I don't know. I'm trying to like rush and get this done, and maybe that'll do it. Oh, I hate that. Sorry, guys. We're gonna figure something out. Maybe the next time Justin's in here, Justin comes in here every I don't know. And maybe I'll have him like come in here and do work on
Monday
this.
and Wednesday.
Yeah. You do Monday and Wednesday? Was that a yes?
Yes, sorry, I didn't
Okay.
know it cut out.
Yeah. Might not have cut out for everybody. It just cut out for me, maybe. Yeah, I ruined this brush. I'm gonna have to get a new one. I replace my brushes a lot, guys. Is that normal? You should use a flat for this, faster coverage. Um, that's a good point. I need a big ol' daddy brush. That reminds me, I kept telling in the production meetings, anytime they talk about the mega bundle, I'm like, we have to call that. I've been told we have to call that the daddy box. And everybody's like, why? And I'm like, I don't know. I had just said we have to call it the daddy box because I'm trying to make daddy box happen. And then I had to tell them I was lying. Yeah, I need the Ed number 5. Um, yeah. Brushes. I started using cheaper brushes, so I'm replacing them more. It's still a lot cheaper for me. Um, we get discounts. We get like mega discounts. So, um, I think it's pretty economical. And like, I'm sure they would give it to me, but I like to pay for things. I like to be an independent lady. You know what I mean? Is that how you are, Justin? You like to be an
Yes,
independent lady?
I am an independent lady, as much as I can be an independent lady.
Sometimes Dave will get a wild hair and just go on the given train. I always talk about this, but I toured the factory when I was a kid and he gave me every paint in production. Now, at the time, they were pro paints, and it's not like there were like 500 of them, um, but yeah, it's a lot. So now I'm like, man, I can pay for my own stuff. I got started for free. It's like they say that with drugs or whatever, your first hit's free, or miniatures or any hobby. I actually think they do say that about miniatures and the paint and take. Hopefully, we'll get a nice consistent color in here because I'm just hating it. It's just killing me, guys. If it's a synthetic brush, they get wrecked pretty quickly for me. My Kolinsky's sable brushes have held up well, though. Are the black ones synthetic? No, 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 it's sable. Are the red ones Kolinsky's sable? I should know this, but I don't. I don't pay a lot of attention to details, and I really probably should. Getting all the little doots in there. You know what I thought about doing? Without the lights a lot better. I thought about doing my makeup with a Reaper airbrush.
Oh boy.
Yeah, this brush is about to be a garbage brush. I did when I took a bridal class and they used airbrush for makeup. But you know what I've heard? Uh I've heard that models who are constantly airbrushed makeup airbrush can get this lung situation as with anything else. I mean, just the more you're exposed to something, just. Oh, yeah, I forgot. I just poured this. But you have to use special makeup for that or alter your makeup. I don't know how you do that. Because I know you can alter paint. I'm sure you can alter makeup as long as it's a water based makeup, not an oil based. And then there are the people that paint their bodies. I'm sure they use the body painters. Do they use airbrushes, Justin, or different ones? Different.
I don't think I've ever seen one on screen do it, but
different strokes for different folks,
Right.
different blowings for different goings. It's because it's not strokes if you're not using a brush. See what I mean?
Yeah.
Well, not everyone's gonna be a real banger. Get the little tail feathers going. And I would like to have some color in this in a way that looks like magic and not like just a weird off color phoenix. When I was a kid, I really thought that like the future to me was people not wearing very many clothes. Like I either thought we were going to be painting on our clothes or we'd just be walking around in pasties. I have no idea why I was thinking this or why I thought that would be comfortable. I don't know. Actually, I probably do. I really liked, like any adult as a kid, I like running around in my underwear. I didn't want to wear clothes. But yeah, I really thought we'd be painted on by now. Get in my booth, get my clothes painted on for the day. Yeah, it wouldn't be comfortable, the Shadow Raven. Yeah, we were hosting Sky Daddy. Um, oh, I'm very stream of consciousness today. Probably means I forgot to take my medicine. That's all right though. I should just embrace it. I even did a fashion show, and this is kind of like embarrassing, but I did a fashion show and I made my cousins be my models, and the outfits were, I'm trying to think how would you describe these pants. I sewed these pants that were like really high waisted and big and flowy, almost like Jinkos, but fabricy, and the tops were just like thick ribbon with various adornments. And we found some pictures, and it was my aunt, and she was like, oh dear God, when was this? And I was like, oh, that was my fashion show. It was very avant-garde, and I apologize for putting everybody through that, but I think we got rid of those pictures because it's tacky, but that's really what I thought it would be. I'm sure it's no worse than some fashion shows have been. Do you and your brother ever do fashion shows?
No.
That's what the 90s were all about, though. I had a cousin that was really into fashion, and he saw a model search on TV, and we went together. You remember those? Model Search America? They'd come on TV, and they'd be like a big casting call. We went to one. It was like the day of the supermodel. Yeah, like harem pants. So I put a base coat of red on. I will obviously want to take it darker. You can tell I'm BSing. I was about to say, you're going to want to take it darker in some places and lighter in others. Okay. So here's what I picked really quickly. This might not be a big enough difference, but no, it's not. I picked up some magma red, and I picked up the clears when I did my big paint grab. I did like a smash and grab. Let's see. Yeah, Francis said there's so many body painters out there now, and you can't even really tell they're nude. That's true. Because I've seen, what's it called? I've seen a lady with a pair of pants painted on, like walking around, like some kind of, I don't know, not challenge, but social experiment. Okay, so maybe tell me what you guys think. Since this is okay, so this is going to be really bright and a different color, but if I went through and I highlighted certain parts and then I went over it, let's just do it. Let's just mix it together. Oh yeah, Dr. Bob, that's the old label. I wonder if there's a way of knowing. It doesn't have the secret. I don't know when this is from, but yeah, that's what our old labels looked like. These are from the mixing bench. No spoons. It wasn't porn. It was. I don't think it was a. I don't think it was a prank video. I think it was a. I don't know. I don't know what it was. Like a social experiment. Like that lady that walked around and got catcalled. You remember that lady? You remember that? Was that like 3 years ago?
I don't know what you're talking about.
What? Okay, there was a lady that walked around New York, and it was basically like a see how much I get catcalled video. And some of the guys were like actually just like kind of nice. But she was also catcalled a lot, but some of it wasn't that bad. Anyway, it was kind of a social experiment. Okay, so we're taking our yellow sample, and we are going to, what are we going to do? I need to know how much I'm putting in there. So 1 drop of yellow sample and 1 drop of magma red and 3 drops of water. Let's see where that gets us. Guys, I bummed a new mixie cup from the ReaperCon fulfillment station. Isn't it pretty? I love that. I think, I don't want to be lying to you guys, but I think we're going to be able to buy separate cups. It's going to be like while supplies last. So we might have extra stuff, and in which case I would highly recommend that. Okay, so what we don't want... No, I think that's good. I think that's a good color. This, was it Valander that was looking for a peach? I think Valander, somebody was looking for like a true peach that wasn't like the bright skin color. This is kind of almost peachy. Almost peachy. Margaret said that's like the woman who did the social experiment where she didn't step aside while walking on the sidewalk to let men pass. I can't remember many times men walked into her, but the number was crazy. Okay, this is something I learned in instructor school. When women are interrupted in class, in a classroom setting, and probably in real life, typically they will stop talking, and not only will they stop talking, but they won't speak up as much. But men, when they're interrupted, usually just power through and they keep talking. So ever since I learned that, when somebody interrupts me, I just power through. And it's a little obnoxious, but I do it. Yeah, exactly. Not all men. And I don't know I don't know how they studied this. I don't know if it was boys, like high school age.
My my common courtesy says that if someone interrupts me, I just stop. I don't like to talk over people if I can help it.
Well, I've got to now. It's my job. It's my own little corner of justice. If you interrupt me, I'm going to keep on going. See what I've started? We're the power through crew. Um, that's a little wet. So what I want is I want it to go. So this many, like, this is like a high point, and then this is like a lower point, and then this is a high point. We have to decide where we want the light to come from. And for me, I think I want the light to come to the front because he's like almost like summoning, or I hate this white balance thing. He's like, maybe if I can't get white out of here. I think it should come from like the center of his chest, basically, the light. Which I guess would mean that he'll be lightest right here. The base is fire. Okay, this is a good point, the Menaith. The base is fire. So maybe we want him bottom lit. Yeah, the base is fire. So actually,
I think the takeaway from the conversation is less to power through people talking and interrupting you. It's more to teach people to not interrupt other people when they talk.
yeah, you're probably right.
Like we
Um,
should attack this from the root, not the. And that goes for all walks of life, all genders, all everything.
I was disturbed by it though. But you're probably right. Uh, Figured it's rude interrupting. If it's dire, I better be about to hit by a car, or else they can wait. If it's relevant, a simple hand gesture can indicate you want to interject something relevant. Dr. Bob brings up a good point. It's socialized behavior. It also reflects how genders communicate and innate purposes of that communication. Girls and boys learn differently too. I'm a proponent of all girls schools because of that. I could definitely see myself if I had a daughter sending her to
I
an all girls school.
completely agree, purely because I just don't trust boys. I grew up as a boy, so I'm still a boy. And as a result, like, I just, nah, I'm good.
I'm trying to get like a good mental image of this because I want him to look like that. I suggest use a different light to light up that phoenix and take a reference picture with your phone. That's a good idea. I don't have another light, so I'm thinking of taking a screenshot of it. But yeah, I want that. I'm going to do this. Okay, so the next time I'll have like a screenshot of that. And I'll have that to work on. But for right now, I'll try and remember. I'll try and remember. Let's see. While being sensitive still to those who cannot help the way their brain is wired and try their best not to interrupt but start to develop anxiety when unable to say something that they want to say. I was about to say, on top of that, we learned about learning disabilities and neuro. Oh, what do you call it? I can't remember what you call it. I'm a bad teacher. Bad teacher. But you want to be sensitive. Some people are going to interrupt you, and some people are going to not mean to. Hi, Mike Disney. so you have to be sensitive to it, but it still made me really sad. I'm like, oh my gosh, we're still teaching. I don't know. People are going to have different opinions of it, whether it's socialized or whether it's um, kind of innate in us. Neurodivergence and neurotypical. Thank you, Carrie Michael Cosby. Thank you. That is exactly what I was trying to say. Neurodiversity, exactly. Talking over others is a passive aggressive bullying technique. Yeah, it is. It is. And that is true. Good teachers teach that they don't always know the answer. That's why when I learned, they called it facilitating. Being a good facilitator, facilitating learning. Oh, Zume recently got a bunch of minis from the store. They look great. Thanks for getting them out during this weird time. Yeah, that's Bill. Mr. Bill is killing it. Absolutely killing it. I don't think they mean to, though. I really don't think they mean to interrupt. Nobody wants to be an interrupter. Um,
I think there's a certain level of arrogance that can come about from a person that they might interrupt because whether they admit it or not, it's a level of condescension, right? It's what you're saying is less relevant, and I think that applies to all genders. It can happen to anybody, right? Anyone can have that level of arrogance where they decide that what you're saying isn't relevant enough that they're just going to talk over it, right?
well, here's a good example. Um, my mom finishes sentences and she does not do it to be mean. It's who she is. You want to know like frustration? You watch The Wheel of Fortune with my mom because my mom knows. And my mom knows what you're about to say. Her brain is moving so fast she can't stop. Um, active and versus passive listening. Yeah, that is a good point. Um,
Another thing too, interestingly enough, and it's interesting this ties in. We have to look at cultural differences. So when I was talking
mm-hmm.
to Luca, for instance, when I was talking to Luca before we went live that 3 weeks ago when we did that show, he said that in his culture, it's frequently everyone around. It's male, female, whoever. They often will talk over each other, and it's not considered rude. For instance, it's
Yeah.
just something that everyone does it. You'll end up with three people talking at the same time while somehow still listening at normal decibels. And he said that he doesn't do it to be rude. He prefaces that with, if he does it, it's not to be rude. It's just something that they just do in Italy. I don't know if that's exclusive to Italy or what, but I found that kind of interesting too because I think it's also a southern thing. I think that down here we like to do it as like my family becomes raucous and loud
Mm.
and they'll talk. Four of us will talk at one time. Not so much myself, but four of us will talk at one time, and we all retain the information. It's weird, but
No, that makes sense. It makes a lot of sense. Um, okay. Y'all are all talking about, I wasn't gonna say it, but the stuff that's going on with the post office is kind of freaky. I don't like it. I won't go too deep into it because I shouldn't. I'll make Justin nervous, but it's
yeah, let's not.
alarming. Okay, it's
Wait, what
alarming.
did you say?
It's
Disarm.
alarming. It's
Alarming.
alarming.
Yeah.
I'm alarmed. But anyway, my great great grandfather, I think, was the postmaster general during the Civil War. He's in history books.
Say that again. Sorry.
My great grandfather, somebody way back when, was the postmaster general during the Civil War.
Oh,
Yeah, he's in history books. I think he did a move that was like please, dear God, rejoin the union. This is a bad idea. And everybody was like, fuck that guy, put him in jail. Then they all came around eventually. That's how I understand it, though. I don't know. That's my very basic knowledge.
I'm the exact same way, Margaret, actually. Like completely same way. I don't it doesn't occur to me till later too, where like especially when we're on Twitch. I don't ever mean to talk over anybody, but because of the delay between talking when we're not in the
Oh,
same room, it's very difficult. Um,
yes. I do it to Justin all the time. I was about to say this is definitely not a um this is definitely not a attack on people who interrupt people, because I don't think anyone is like, even what I was talking about, I don't think anybody was like, oh, because I'm a man, I have a really important thought, I'm going to speak over this woman. I really don't think it's like that, and I really think people do it for lots of different reasons. I think this was just, um, for example, you need to watch your female students. I don't even know if this is going to be, teaching changes. Um, Teaching is going to change, and a lot of the things we hold true aren't necessarily going to be true. But I think the point was, keep an eye on your students and make sure that if somebody tries to speak up and say something and they're interrupted and they shut down, you need to re engage that person. Oh, let's see. Flame temperature gradients. Dr. Bob, I like that idea. And one thing I would really like to paint, and I don't know how I'll do it, I'm going to have to look at pictures, is I like when flames kind of like spark some like little dust up or something. Um, Dr.
uh,
Bob, please mansplain to us. We love it. Man or woman, splain to us. We like it.
oh, I see, and that's another thing too that I struggle with. Kind
Being
of in the
triggered
same
by
vein.
the word mansplain. I just interrupted you.
Uh, no, no,
Sorry.
no, no, no. It's not so much being triggered. It is one of those things that I don't really like that much because I feel like me personally, I feel like I lack the ability to articulate myself regularly. So if I'm
Really?
trying to communicate a point, seriously, so if I'm trying to communicate a point, I'll end up explaining it three or four or five different ways. And because of the emergence of a convenient word to use, like mansplaining or womansplaining, that's often when people are like, well, you don't have to mansplain it. And I'm like, it's not that I'm trying to over explain it or be condescending. It's that I am not confident I'm communicating the message, so I come at it from multiple angles, right? In that I want to make sure that I thoroughly explain what I'm trying to communicate. And it's something that can happen. It's by no means meant to sound condescending because I think that's context is important, right? So when you're
Mm-hmm.
mansplaining, it's often at the heart of the root of it is condescension, right? It's
Yeah.
patronizing. And, you know, but and that
Somebody said
that's fine. Yeah.
Sadie's playing. I like that. It is Kuronico. It is going from magenta to orange. It's supposed to be a nice. I actually think it's supposed to be a little more red than that. And I color corrected it on my settings, but when I take my hand away, oh, it's not even gonna do it. When I take everything away, it's gonna, maybe it's not. Maybe it's not. It's not gonna do what I want it to do, no matter what. Yeah,
Yeah,
chemical
no.
flames. That's what we were talking about. Is I was wondering if there's a chemical flame that's rainbow.
Also, Luna Fox, I would consider a document camera because that's actually, I believe that's what CD's using right
Mm-hmm.
now. But you're using the older one, right? You're not using the IPVO.
No, I've got two IPVOs, and I like them.
Yeah,
It's
the
just that I've
IPVO.
got. Go ahead.
No, no, you go ahead.
I've got auto white balance on, right? Auto focus, auto white balance. Is it
Auto,
autofocus?
no, it's auto white balance, and you do have autofocus on too.
Yeah.
If you Google LunaFox, if you Google IPVO document camera, they have a line of three or four of them. They're excellent. A good example of
Mm-hmm.
the use of them is like Sadie's using one now. However, hers is in kind of a full mod auto issue thing right now. But the other example of one being used is Anne's show. So
Mm-hmm.
Anne's show, which is 11 to 30. You can check it in our VODs if you're new to the channel, because I've not seen your name, so maybe you're new. But in if you check out RTB Pro Tips, she uses the IPEVO document camera, and it'll allow you to focus lock. It does all kinds of fantastic things. Conversely, to Bobcat's point, you can use an SLR with a capture card. My problem, um, personally, with using SLRs is DSLRs. Even the modern ones are better, but an older DSLR or even like mid 2000 or late, let's say post 210, right? 2010, they're not exactly designed to have sensors that run all the time. People use them, but in theory, they could burn up faster than like a camcorder, for instance. So it's kind of like using a laptop for like desktop level of like stress testing and usage. It's usable, but it's not preferred necessarily. To give you an overly complex answer to a very simple question, I'm sorry.
Let's see. Dr. Bob says there's not a chemical fire that's rainbow. Let's see. Also, um, Carrie Michael Cosby mentioned something that's funny, not funny, like not funny that this happened. Um, uh, that is good, Justin. Not mansplaining at all. Mansplaining is specifically telling a woman about something that is her lived experience as if she doesn't know, like when a male friend of mine tried to tell me about menstruation. That
That's
is hilarious, but not.
yeah. I mean,
Um,
it's one of those things where, as a man, obviously we simply can only speak from a textbook, a studied experience of menstruation,
I was about
directly
to
not.
say,
Yeah, all I can do is regurgitate something you've probably already read in a medical book, even if I were an actual doctor. Like it's unfortunately it's not it's really hard, right? In those sorts of situations, I always relent. It doesn't make much sense. It'd be like me arguing Italian culture with Luca. It's simply I can read about it all day long. I can even go spend a lot of time over there. It's just not the same though, right? I didn't grow up there.
can I tell you that something amazing I've heard about Italy is that in Italy, you go to the barber shop and you spend hours there. And this is one thing that made me a bad hairstylist is that I take forever. And it's not because I'm talking, it's not because I'm talking with my hands, it's because I'm super anal. And oh, I hate that. I hate that. Anyway, I'm still messing with this light. Anyway, um but from what I've heard, it's a really neat experience. So I've had some Italian guys stay with me because they enjoy the vibe, which is not like an in and out culture. Like here, I had somebody tell me like a man uh, doesn't want to sit in your chair for very long, but the lady that taught me eventually she had to leave where we were working and go somewhere else, and she was like, I want you to know something, like there are some men that want you to take a long time on their hair, and maybe you just need to focus on, because I was doing men's hair at the time, so why I keep saying men, um, that want you to take a long time. But anyway, so that's one thing that's cool about Italian culture, and I think part of it is an appreciation for, I don't know, just like time and not luxury, but like just savoring life and really connecting. Whereas like we're like really um we're really speeding through things. Um yeah, I hate it. I hate this color changing issue.
To cry, it's a little bit of column A, a little bit of column B. Um, but actually, you want to tell me, or you want me to tell you one of my pet peeves? Actually,
What?
being like I absolutely have a huge problem with like generalizations in regards to like people and behavior, even though I know that studying people, that you do start to see trends, right? But I try to like move away from generalizations, especially when it's gender related, especially when it's other things similar to that, because at the end of the day, I mean, there's 121 people in this chat, as well as you and I, and every single one of us are very different.
That's
Like
true.
we're a grab bag of personalities and behavioral traits, and no two of us will likely be the same. It's almost like DNA, right?
Yeah.
We're gonna we're gonna be different, so it's hard to make true generalizations about stuff when, for instance, I don't talk over people, right? Or I try not to,
Yeah.
generally speaking. So, and that's just one of those things where when you hear generalizations, I feel like it's just provocative and oftentimes causes arguments and issues because
I
well, I
try
should say,
not to. I try not
sorry.
to. I know I do though. I know I do, especially with men. I can be a little bit of a bra burner. I try not to be though.
Oh, and I think that's the thing is I think an amount of that is necessary because I think it's what establishes, and it's what changes status quo. It's what changes certain paradigms that should be changed. It just once again, right? It's like baby out with the bathwater. You can't. You need to pick and choose, right? Some things make sense, some things don't. And to Frances's point earlier, I think she said something about teaching her daughter to make sure that her voice is heard. I stand behind that 3,000%.
I think it was coffee
Like,
notary beer. I could be
well,
wrong though.
I thought
Somebody
Frances said
did
something.
though. Somebody did say that.
But that's actually why I'm marrying my fiance because she's an incredibly strong person and someone I look up to
Whew.
personally, and I as a result, she's my other person,
This is a
because she is
bad
very.
example. This doesn't tell you like everything about a person, but when we were doing Kickstarter fulfillment, we do it like a tiny little store. So we set up all the stuff and you have an order and you kind of shop it. You go through the line and me and McKaylee both picked up the same thing one time and her neutral mode is just power. It's just like she grabbed it real fast because she moves with purpose in a way that I think a lot of women lose. A lot of women aren't, I know you hate this. A lot of people, not just women, a lot of people um, don't have that like confidence and that strength to just move with purpose, to just do, to be utilitarian, to just move. Yeah, I don't know. I kind of equate it, and this is sort of like not nice and degrading, but it's almost like we're different types of dogs. You know what I mean? And some of us are labs, and some of us are like little neurotic whatevers. I don't know. I don't know. That one doesn't connect very well. Some of us are poodles. Do a wash of Agrax Earthshade, or Burnt Amber for shadows. That's a good point. This was a very um this was a very quick thrown together palette because I was actually going to do the horsey lady. So I just picked up the Phoenix Red. I was like, what do I paint a Phoenix with? And I was like, I know I can grab Phoenix Red. So I haven't even thought about shadows yet. But I do know I want some yellow in there. And I really, really, really would like some iridescent type situation in there. So I'm going to be looking at maybe before next time. I'll get some reference photos because I don't know, maybe like almost in the way that peacock feathers do. I'd like some iridescence, but I don't want it to look like it's just a weird variation of a phoenix. Even though phoenixes are mythical, right? I don't think there are.
Uh, and there are animals that essentially quote unquote die and then come back to life, but not necessarily in a reborn sort of fashion. Like certain amphibians, I think, is it amphibians? Like lizards and frogs, I think that'll, for instance, be frozen solid for however long, and then they can just thaw out and just wake back up, basically.
Um, well, I know that, but I was thinking in the way that like maybe they aren't magical in the way that bats are thought to be like vampires, but bats are real. Like our phoenix is real,
Oh,
but they
I
don't
see
really
what you're
burn up
saying.
and die and come back. You know what I
Oh, is
mean?
there like a basis this in reality. I think is what you're saying.
I don't
Like
think they
inspiration.
are. You know what though?
It could have been a parrot of some sort, or some sort of let's say Latin American bird that's got brilliant feathers that look similar.
Hmm.
I don't know much about birds, so I have no idea. But
Birds of Paradise, yeah. Um, One thing I read was that because when I was gonna make a macaw color for the pirate set, and they have these really vibrant blue macaws, and somebody said I read it was theoretical, but there was an article about how there possibly could have been magenta macaws. I might be making this up, but I really think that they think that it's possible there could have been magenta macaws.
um, two things real quick. To answer Dr. Bob's question from a minute ago, yeah, there is other stages to the skull. The next one beyond, I believe, 12 Myra year is a year and 6 months, which that one is like a brilliant blue, I believe. So you guys will see that one for a minute or two. But second thing is, Sadie, we are 5 minutes past when we were supposed to quit.
I know
So
it. I know it. I'm gonna do one more thing. If you want to draw, we're giving away one, right?
yes.
Okay. Go ahead and draw it. I'm gonna add a drop of clear yellow into the mixture I made before, and if that works, we'll use that as a highlight because this is a nice highlight, but it goes just a little ashy, and we want highlights to be um, warmer than that. But yeah, sorry. Go ahead. So I'm gonna do one drop
All
clear
right.
yellow, one drop of the uh, kitchen yellow. It's called. I've decided, and 2 drops of the magma red. Go ahead.
All right. So I drew our winner, and our winner is. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Our winner is XiwoXerase.
Neat. Well, I'm very happy because you're one of our subbers. We appreciate you, and you're gonna get a nice high coverage um, kitchen yellow. All right, we're just gonna try one thing, and then we're gonna wrap it up. And then, so for next time, I'll have a reference picture of what I want. I'll also think of a wash and shadows to cry some more. Those were some really good suggestions. I definitely need to think about the colors. And what I'll probably do is what I did for my bust, which is what I've been doing is I get a supply. One of our supplies that we use comes in a plastic tub, and it's got a plastic lid on it, and it's white, and we usually just throw it away. Like, we don't have plastic recycling here. So what I've started doing is I've started using that as either swatches or a little throwaway palette. So I'm at least reusing it. I'm not crazy about throwing it away, but whatever. Anyway, been doing that and making myself little, like, oh, I want to paint this mini, and I have a white piece of plastic. I might as well kind of swatch it out and see how these colors look together, which I've seen people do on plastic spoons. I've seen them do it on popsicle sticks. Maybe next time we'll talk about how you guys do it. But congratulations. We will send that out to you. Again, that's we'll probably give it away next time too. It's very limited. It's not that brown. It's I'm gonna try and fix my color. I'm really unhappy with the way the color's gone. Um, but yeah, hopefully you had fun and weren't offended by our little mini generalizations, because we try not to generalize here. Try to keep it real open mind here. So that's all I've got. Um, oh, but yes, Reaper Live at 6 p.m.
Yes, an
ish.
hour and 20 minutes from now. Yeah, 6 p.m. ish. An hour and 20 minutes from now.
I will not be the one holding us up, I promise. And the next time we'll also have our um, under 10-year-old painters. And I would like to get into where we appreciate each other's art. I may not be like the most talented in the world, but I think I'm pretty good appreciator of art. So we're gonna appreciate some art from the littles, and then maybe we'll open it up for uh, the not littles, the slightly less littles. All right. Well, we love you and we appreciate you. Oh, we need a raid. Do you have a raid picked out?
I do actually.
Who are we raiding?
Zambies.
I like that. I like zombies. So yeah, we're gonna raid zombies. Spread the Reaper love. She's practically a part of Reaper. She's a she's a little piece of us. So, we love you, and we'll see you soon.
Thanks very much. We'll see you for Reaper Live. You don't want to miss it. Don't forget, we are still giving away an airbrush. So
Oh,
we're going to be
somebody's
giving it.
got Dave tied up
Yes, yes.
in a chair.
He has no idea.
All right.
Or he's trying to. Anyway, thank you guys very much. Keep being awesome. Thank you for the great discussion today. And once again, thank you guys for showing up and showing us your beautiful faces.
Yeah.
We'll see you guys later.